My first marriage started in 2003. I was 21 years old, too young to get married, and we started off very shaky. It was kind of very apparent from the beginning that this is going to be a difficult road to go about. But growing up, I had this view of marriage. Both of my parents were divorced prior to getting together, and so I always knew that marriage was hard work. So I was prepared for that, but didn't really know what it took. So 21 years old, just getting married. We only dated for maybe 3 or 4 months before eloping. And so my father, 2 weeks before I got married, told me, whatever you do, don't lose your identity. And at 21, I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I kind of scoffed at it.
As we do at 21.
Because absolutely. I was thinking to myself, because I grew up in a Christian background, that, the two shall become one. I'm looking forward to being somebody's wife. And so that was my mindset throughout the marriage, that my identity was his wife and nothing more was needed. Toward the middle of
I think that's going to resonate with so many people out there that got married young. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries. And you're right. I think, growing up, and especially if you have the background, the Christian background, or whatever religion you identify with, just having the mindset that all I need is, just to be married and just to be your wife, and that will be it. And at about mid-20s, I started to realize that something was missing, and I was also having some health issues going on. So 2010 is when I say things really started to unravel. Just briefly, that was a rough year for me. My grandmother died. I had a very tragic thing happen to me at a gas station here in Detroit. And I had some anxiety issues that were really taking over me, my body. But like most women do, like most people do, you just keep pushing through it. And I was just ignoring all the signs and the symptoms. And I ended up in the hospital 15 times over the summer of 2010 with symptoms that no one could diagnose. Testing after testing, and eventually I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So you add that onto the fact that a marriage was started by two young people who didn't really know what they were doing. Now we have a health crisis going on. We don't know how to communicate to each other, and it was just downhill from there. It was a domino effect.
So you would have been about how old at this point? About how old were you at this point in 2010?
I was 29.
29.
I was 29 when I was diagnosed.
So you've been in the marriage for about 8 years. Okay.
Yeah. And it didn't reach its finality until year 11.
Okay.
And so, but what I realized is that I was counting milestones. All that mattered to me was the number of years that we were married. 5 years came, the 7-year came, and we both kind of were joking about the 7-year itch, and we're going to get through it. 10 years come, and we're like, okay, it's rough, but we reached, 10 years and never really was focusing on the health of the relationship.
That's such a great point you make there. I love how you frame that, because I think a lot of people do that. They focus on the milestones rather than the health, and they're almost like white knuckling their way through it. Like, just one more year, we got to get through one more year. And then suddenly you realize, what? We don't really know each other. We don't really have an emotional connection. So I'm sorry, pick up where you left off.
We didn't know each other. We didn't know ourselves. And so it got to a point where, literally, I didn't know what this relationship, what this marriage was supposed to be about anymore. But I still was fighting to make it work. And I remember the moment when I realized this isn't going to work anymore. And I was begging. It was a very emotional day. I was just, not feeling well, and we were arguing. And I remember just pleading with him, like, we got to make this work. I just want to make it work. And he looked at me and said the most simple statement: I don't want to just make it work. And that's when I realized,
Wow.
like, I've been holding you hostage. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I realized that's how he felt. Like, I've been holding you hostage because I just want to count the years. And that was, eye opening for me. It was a moment that I realized I had to look within and look at myself, and the expectations that I brought to this marriage. And we separated. And I still held out hope during the separation that we would reconcile. Um,
Did you
but
have kids?
time
Did y'all
goes.
have kids?
We did. We did not have kids.
Okay. Okay.
I even tried that. I even tried, well, let's have a baby.
Me too. I can relate a lot to your story.
Like, that'll fix it. Let's have
Yeah.
a baby. Yeah. But that 2014 is when April 2014 we finalized everything, and I remember during the process of divorce just feeling like it felt like it was an out of body experience for me, because I was already having the health crisis, trying to adapt my life to this new diagnosis that I had. Emotionally, I felt detached from everything that used to bring me meaning and joy in my life. The foundation of the stability of what I thought marriage was supposed to be about had completely shattered. And I just was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And I remember going to sign the papers and kind of having this victory feeling, but also kind of like, I don't even know what's next for me now.